Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for your early look for the NFL slate of DFS on DraftKings for Week 11. Let's get things cooking, all right? Before I deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD. And don't forget to sign up for the Patreon. You're missing out on gems day in and day out. We had the NBA slate and the Monday Night Football slate breakdown. I got value targets. I got studs to get, captain that you needed to have for Monday Night Football, flex options, betting. All that's going down on Patreon. If the bet is not on Patreon, it is going to be on my story on Instagram. I'm telling you guys, you have to sign up. All right, it's only $7.99 a month, and you're missing out on a gem like this. Before kickoff, I posted this. Let's be bold today. We are taking the 49ers money line. Okay, we're taking the 49ers money line. Look, I got my boys seeing it. Thank you guys for checking that out. Hopefully they cashed in on that. Goldberg, Dylan, and Eric. You're missing out on gems. You're missing out on gems right now. The game is pretty much over, but let's double check it. The score right now for that NFL game is 31-7. Okay, just so you guys know. All right, 31-7. So now let's get into this Week 11 first look. All right, I'm going to go position by position, giving you my favorite plays at quarterback, at running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Let's start off with quarterback. We saw Josh Allen take nice advantage of the New York Jets. Pretty much it was a Stephon Diggs day. You get the Buffalo Bills back at home going up against the Colts, who have been giving up a ton of passing yards. They have been very atrocious on defense as of late this season. Only 366 yards. The touchdowns were missing. That's why I only had 24 fantasy points, pretty much 25 fantasy points. We're looking for a big 30 bomb from him. I think he can do that definitely back home in Buffalo against the Colts. It should be a nice back and forth affair between him and Carson Wentz. I think that is a very intriguing game to stack as well. Let's continue on down the line. Another quarterback we're going to look at is Patrick Mahomes. He's back. Not only is the quarterback for the Panthers back, but Patrick Mahomes has finally shown his true self. Man, I told you they've been waiting in the weeds, man. This is this very similar thing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did last season, where they struggled at the beginning of the season, and then that stretch run, it was everything is clicking, okay? Everything is clicking, and it's the perfect time right before they faced the Dallas Cowboys in a great situation where the Kansas City Chiefs are home. Give me Patrick Mahomes. Look at this, 400 yards, 5 TDs. You don't think he can do that against Dallas defense? Dallas defense is opportunistic. They create turnovers, but they are not a shutdown defense. They're great for fantasy, creating points, but they're not going to stop and shut down a team, okay? Especially not the Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a huge problem for them. I love Patrick Mahomes. You better stack up Patrick Mahomes as much as you can, all right? He's going to be one of my top tier number one quarterbacks this week. All right, we got Dak Prescott on the other side of that ball. Obviously, I love the over in this game. This is going to be a high-scoring environment. Talent is through the roof on both sides of the ball. I think Dak Prescott is going to have to keep up pace with the Kansas City Chiefs offense, utilize that run game, and then work off that. I think Dak can pick apart the Chiefs defense, who has been pretty impressive as of late. You know, making some stops and getting some crucial wins. So that's very, very intriguing right there. Let's continue down the line. Aaron Rodgers going up against the Minnesota Vikings. He usually has a great time going up against Minnesota. Coming back against Seattle was a little bit of shaky. He didn't throw a touchdown. Do you think that's going to happen again? Especially with an opponent he knows very well in Minnesota. I think Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams has a big bounce back game, big breakout, and I love Aaron Rodgers at 7,000. All right, let's continue down on. Let's find some cheaper guys at the quarterback position. 6,700, Ryan Tannehill going up against the Houston Texans. This is a big matchup discrepancy. That's why I want to pick apart. The Houston Texans is definitely someone I really love. On a Titan side, we'll get to him a little bit later. But the quarterback of this team is Ryan Tannehill, providing solid passing yards, and he is very good with the rushing ability. Has a touchdown in 4 out of the 5 last weeks. If we're just looking at the game log, he is getting TDs each and every game against the Saints, against the Rams, against the Chiefs, and Buffalo. They're using him in that red zone. You can see more of that just because of the fact that Derrick Henry is gone. If they're at that 1 yard line, there's no problem that they can use Ryan Tannehill in a bootleg situation or a QB sneak situation. So Ryan Tannehill has big upside passing and rushing, especially against this poor defense in the Houston Texans. Last but not least, what we're going to look at this quarterback's position for the first look will be Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson in an in-division matchup going up against, we'll see if it's going to be Kyler Murray. But he had a rough going against Green Bay. I expect a total bounce back, coming back home, having 5 weeks off, getting thrown in that game in Lambeau. That was a tough situation for him. He threw 2 interceptions. I think I see another big bounce back game from him. And at a cheap price at $6,500, you're getting a discount on an elite tier quarterback. He was $7,600. Now you're getting him at $6,500. I'm all in on Russell Wilson as well. Let's move over to the running back position. Some guys we're going to really key on for Week 11. Number 1 will be A.J. Dillon. All right. The injury to their other running back, Aaron Jones, is a big boost for A.J. Dillon's upside right here. Obviously, he's got that similar type of body like Derrick Henry. They use him more in the passing game, which is a plus. Had 21 carries against Seattle, 66 yards and 2 TDs. This man is hard to stop when he gets going. And the receiving upside is another bonus as well. We got some earlier games in the season where he had 4 receptions, 2 receptions. It's a little bit everywhere, but now it's his backfield totally, and I love his price at $6,200. We're going to definitely go in on him in the 27th rush defense. That is perfect for A.J. Dillon and his price. Obviously, he's going to be high owned, but the opportunity is there, all right? Opportunity equals money, okay? Next guy we're going to go to, we're going back to the top tier. Top tier guys, that's going to be Christian McCaffrey. He is fully back and going. Last week, 13 carries, 95 yards, super efficient, 7.3 yards a carry. Plus, look at the receiving game, 10 receptions on 10 targets. He did not drop a ball, 66 yards. All you were looking for was a touchdown, but that's 26 fantasy points without a TD. That is absolutely outstanding. With a touchdown, he can definitely score upwards of 30 to 40 fantasy points with no problem. Okay, against Washington. Washington had a big upset win, so we'll see if they'll be able to do it again against the Carolina Panthers and Cam Newton. We will see about that. So let's throw him in there. We're going to throw A.J. Dillon in there. And we're going to keep going on down the line. Another running back I've been looking at is Dalvin Cook. Cook has a good history going up against the Green Bay Packers. If we're just going to StatMuse, let me just change this around for you so you guys can see. This is live. We got Dalvin Cook last 5 games against the Packers. All right. StatMuse is definitely something you need to use. As long as you type it in the search bar correctly, it will spit out the information for you. So we got Dalvin Cook. Look at the bar, the graph bar. All right, the bar graph. 51 points last year against the Packers, 21 and 31. And all this is on regular usage. He had 30 attempts In that last game for 51 DK, he had 12 attempts for 21 DK. Then he had 20 attempts on 31 DK. When he's getting a full workload, he is exposing this defense rushing the ball because he's an elite running back. Obviously, the bottom two games were it was young in his career. He only had 10 attempts and 10 attempts, okay? But he still had double-digit fantasy points, all right? Dalvin Cook could be a lock for this week, week 11, all right? Gotta have him in your lineups, all right? Next guy we're going to look at will be Ezekiel Elliott at 7,700. This matchup, like I said before, I want everyone in this Cowboys and Chiefs game. And one of the key components to slowing down the Chiefs is the running game. They happen to have Ezekiel Elliott, and I think he'll be a big workhorse in this game against the Chiefs. Was able to get 2 TDs against Atlanta, not the yards, but did get the touchdowns. Got some receiving work as well. I think he's getting back acclimated after a little rough patch in week 8 and week 9. We can see some upward 20-point performances from Ezekiel Elliott. I love him in this game against the Chiefs, despite the fact it is on the road, so we're going to look at him as well. Another cheap guy, last but not least, at the running back position before I go to wide receivers, will be James Conner. All right, James Conner with the injury to Chase Edmonds. He stepped in as the number 1 running back, got 10 carries in a very tough matchup going up against the Carolina Panthers, but still was able to get in the end zone, 3.9 yards per carry. That is not what you're looking for, but we still saw usage. We still saw a touchdown, and we still saw receiving work, 3 receptions on 4 targets for 25 yards. In a better matchup, we can see him going off for definitely his minimum of 20 fantasy points. As you can see, if he gets the full workload on a better matchup, he can actually have a huge game like he did against the 49ers. So James Conner at 6,100 is definitely someone I'm going to look at. I think the matchup against Seattle was great. We saw what A.J. Dillon was able to do to them last week. So I think James Conner can do something similar to that this week. All right, so I love him at that price. Let's move on to the wide receivers for week 11. Obviously, the quarterbacks I talked about, you want to pair their number 1 and number 2 wide receivers with that as well. First one I'm going to talk about is going to be Davante Adams. All right, this shouldn't be breaking news. Okay, he had 7 receptions for 11 targets, 78 yards, and that was without a touchdown. We saw Aaron Rodgers struggle in that game. I think he definitely bounced back against Minnesota, which should be another high-scoring affair. We got a lot of games which are going to reach that 50-plus total for Vegas, and you want to attack those situations. Obviously, you got to pick and choose the right ones, put them in the right place because these salaries are going to be high because they're stars. But this is a great game to target, and I think Adams definitely gets his 4th, maybe 5th touchdown of the season this week. All right, next guy we're going to look at will be A.J. Brown. I know a lot of fantasy and DFS owners were pissed off of his performance against the Saints. Obviously, they have Marshawn Lattimore. I think they definitely locked him down with him. But now this is a game situation where he's going up against a poor Texans defense. And this is going to be the explode game for A.J. Brown. As you can see in week 8 and week 7, we had 30 points back to back in those games. Look for that type of performance this week. He's going to be a lock in each and every one of my lineups. I love A.J. Brown this week. Next guy we're going to look at will be Jamar Chase going up against the Raiders. We saw what Tyreek Hill and KELCE did to this defense on Sunday Night Football. Now Jamar Chase gets an opportunity against him, and he's been outstanding rookie of the year type of talent that we've seen from him. And now he's getting the workload, 13 targets, 9 targets, 10 targets in this game situation in Las Vegas. I think Jamar Chase shows up and shows out, gets him probably 100 yards and a touchdown. I love him at 7,200. All right. There's a lot of studs at wide receiver this week. Let's continue on down the line. I got a couple more plays for you. Obviously, in that Dallas KC game, we're going to look at CeeDee Lamb and we're going to look at Amari Cooper. Okay, CeeDee Lamb was the beneficiary last week with 6 receptions, 7 targets, and 2 TDs. You can see a game where Amari Cooper steps up against the Chiefs. If it's not CeeDee Lamb, or you can just play both of them. So you can get really, really creative with your lineup builds. But Amari Cooper is still a stud. He had a big game against Minnesota with 29 fantasy points. Just watch out for that. He's been very up and down, kind of sort of like that Tyler Lockett Metcalf thing that's going on with Seattle. It's going on with the Cowboys. The favorite play would be CeeDee Lamb, but do not forget about Amari Cooper. All right. Speaking of Seattle Seahawks, that's the next 2 wide receivers we're going to look at will be Metcalf and will be Tyler Lockett. Metcalf obviously getting his quarterback back, and we should see another big game from him. All right. Let Russell Wilson cook. He struggled in his first game back. That's understandable, but things should get back to normal for Metcalf and Lockett. You're getting a discount on Lockett and Metcalf. Metcalf at 6,800. He was upwards of 7,600. And Lockett, you're getting him at a discount. He's currently 6,000, and he was upwards, if we just check it, at the beginning of the season, he was upwards of 7,400. So that's outstanding. I think this is the guy I'm going to look at in that mid-range. He was the one that was really going off at the beginning of the season with Russell Wilson, as you've seen these first 2 games. 4 for 100 with 2 TDs, 8 for 178 and 1 TD. I think Tyler Lockett bounces back this week with Russell Wilson going up against Arizona's defense. All right. So I like that tandem as well. Let's look at some cheaper options at that wide receiver position. Bryan Edwards at 4,100. Obviously, it is tragic. The tragic outcome for Henry Ruggs. That car accident has led way to obviously Darren Waller is the number 1 option on that offense. Hunter Renfrow has been the safety net to Derek Carr, and now Bryan Edwards is that other opposite guy. It can be an alpha. I think he has the talent to, but you're seeing some big performances out of him against Philly, 3 for 43 and a touchdown, and against KC, 3 for 88 and a TD. These are breakout games, pretty much. I think he can definitely take it to the next level going up against Cincinnati. The upside is there. The promise is there. The opportunity is there as well. I like him at his cheap price at 4,100. We're definitely going to put some Bryan Edwards in our lineups. I'll put him as a flex, so it could be a reminder, you guys, do not forget him. And I got 2 other cheap special guys for you to choose. All right. Next is going to be Jaylen Waddle. Look, I am a Jets fan, but we are struggling to stop teams, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs. It does not matter. Jaylen Waddle is the number 1 for the Miami Dolphins, and he has a great rapport with Tua Tagovailoa at 5,600. We can see a big, big game from Jaylen Waddle. Pretty much similar to week 6 where he had 10 for 70 yards and 2 TDs, or a game similar to Las Vegas, 12 receptions, 13 targets. We can see something similar to that in this game going up against the Jets. I don't know how healthy Brandon Echols is, but that is going to be a downgrade if he is injured as well. And then last but not least, at the wide receiver position will be Rashod Bateman for the Baltimore Ravens. This rookie is slowly cooking, all right? Slowly. All right. This man is like a pot roast. He is going to go off very, very soon. You do not want to miss that game in each and every week. I'm going to put him as my last flex play. He was showing out in preseason, destroying the elite cornerback that they got, Marlon Humphrey for the Ravens. Bateman is an exceptional route runner, has upside with the speed and hands, and this is definitely someone you want to look out for. You have to play him. He is very, very sneaky. Sammy Watkins is just a decoy. Marquise Brown is solid, but the future of this passing game for the Baltimore Ravens will be Rashod Bateman. I'm going to be all over him. Especially, I love him more than I love Bryan Edwards. So let me move Bryan Edwards out, and we're definitely going to put in some Rashod Bateman. All right. Last position will be the tight end position, and we're going to keep this very, very simple. You want to pay up for tight end this week. We have Travis KELCE going up against Dallas. Who do you think the ball is going to go to in this game script? If it's not Tyreek Hill, it's damn sure going to be Travis Kelce. He came back to life a little bit last week with 8 receptions, 10 targets, 119 yards. Did not get in the end zone, but I definitely foresee him getting an end zone this week against Dallas. This is a great matchup for him, high scoring environment, and this is an elite tight end, obviously. And right behind him will be George Kittle. George Kittle is finally healthy and is putting on a clinic each and every week. All right, what he did against Arizona was outstanding. What he's doing right now against the Rams, outstanding again. Has another touchdown this week, and I think it continues on against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's missing 5 weeks, and he still has upside to finish top 3 tight end. You never know about number 1, all right, but probably not. But he definitely still has enough juice in him to finish top 3 tight end. That's how bad the tight end position has been this year. George Kittle, with missing 5 weeks, is still on pace to getting up there, especially if they continue to feed him like this. 6 receptions, 101 yards in the TD. And then this week so far, if we just go to the box score real quick, let me just give you that update on George Kittle. George Kittle this week has 5 catches, 50 yards, and another TD on 7 targets. The usage is there. He is an elite tight end. Definitely go get you some of him at 6,300 if you do not pay up for Travis Kelce. Let's continue to move on down the line. A cheaper option that I like this week is TJ Hawkinson. Bouncing back from a horrible game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, only 1 target. They really keyed in on him, but he is very consistent each and every week. Against Philly, 18. Against the Rams, 10. Against Cincinnati, 15. Okay, we can see double-digit type of production from this tight end. This is pretty much their number 1 option. It's between him and DeAndre Swift. That's all the Lions got. And definitely I see a bounce back performance from him. And then last but not least, I'll give you a cheap tight end play to have, and we'll finish the video. That will be Adam Trautman for the New Orleans Saints. He's obviously was one of the preseason darlings. He started out a little bit rough this season, getting, not wide receiver, tight end 2 type of production because of Juwan Johnson, but he's slowly creeping up. As you can see, 6 targets.
From the LA 40.
Let's pause it. Sorry about that, guys. So, as you can see, he's getting a little more production week by week. Tampa Bay was 6 targets, 7 targets against Atlanta, and then 6 targets against Tennessee. All right. That big game is coming. He's yet to get an end zone. I think it can happen against Philly. He has the size, he has the speed, he has all the metrics, and I love this matchup against Philadelphia. Adam Trautman is one of my favorite cheap tight end plays this week. All right, and that will be the first look at Week 11 for your DraftKings and FanDuel slate. I think we went over a myriad of guys at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Let me know in that comment section down below if you think there's anyone else that we need to look at. I think I covered everything pretty well. We're going to watch the news, especially on NBCSportsEdge.com. Any other breaking news, obviously I'll come out with another video at the end of the week for all my updated picks. And don't forget, obviously it's going to be up to date on Patreon as well. That Sunday morning, I come out with all my favorite plays of the day, all right? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD, and the Patreon link will be down below. Peace out, guys, and don't miss out, all right? Don't miss out.